growing up, most children are raised by their regular parents, but on some special occasions, they are not. And I was one of those special occasions. I was raised by my grandparents instead of my real parents. But growing up, I didn't really think much of it because I had my grandmother and I was still very young. And at the age of 3, my grandparents decided to move to Minnesota from California because of better job opportunities. But leaving behind California meant leaving behind my mother. And when we moved to Minnesota, I was obviously still too young to start school, but as the years went by, I started to go to school, and I started to realize that all my friends had their mothers with them, and I always wondered how it would be like to have my mother with me. Now, leaving behind my mother wasn't that much of a big deal, but as I got older, she would call me regularly, yearly, or whatever, and she would call me and ask me how I was doing, how were my grandparents, and all that fun stuff. And on one of those phone calls, she finally called and she said that she was going to move to Minnesota also from California. And when I found out, I just took a big calendar and then I would mark down the days until the big day. When that big day came, I didn't know what to feel. I felt anxious, nervous, but happy at the same time. I had already been to the airport before, but this felt like it was new all over again to me. The car ride felt like it was forever. When we opened the door to the airport, all I could hear was the luggage being wheeled away from other passengers or people that were going to travel, and people just mumbling all over the place. And we found a little place off in the corner to sit and wait for the plane to land. And as I was sitting down, waiting for the plane to land, I just kept going over and over and over in my head about all the conversations that I had with my mother through the phone. And I just wondered if it was going to be the same, if it was going to be better, or if she was even going to accept me, because I didn't know. And when the plane finally landed, I finally saw my mother through the gateway, and all I just could see was if she was going to like me, if she was going to not even know if I was her daughter, or anything. And I knew what she looked like, and I knew her voice, but I just had never had her face to face. And when I saw her through that doorway, it was like as everybody else, I could not see them, that they were disappeared. And it was just her. And as she was coming towards me, I didn't know if I should hug my mom or if I should just wave at her. It was just common sense for a little child to know that they should hug their mother. But as she came closer, she decided to hug me, and we just shared the most awkwardest hug ever. And the ride back was just as awkward, but she pulled out a candy bar, and she said if I wanted it because it was left over from her plane ride. And I said, oh yeah, I'll eat it. You know, young children love candy. And as I was eating it, I noticed I had never tried this kind before, and it was a white chocolate chip cookies and cream Hershey's bar. And I just thought at that moment that they only sold that chocolate in California. And from that day on, I always remember that small chocolate bar, and I always remember the gesture, and from that moment on I knew that she finally had accepted me as her daughter.